Good morning, children. Today we will start with a new chapter of history, that is When People Rebel, 1857 and after. Now, in the previous chapter we have learned that how the Britishers, through military invasions and military warfare and with their diplomatic policies, they almost now conquered the entire country and became the rulers. Okay, you can see the wars we have learned. It's in Bengal, Battle of Plassey, and then Buxar. Then Karnataka wars we have not learned, but they fought Karnataka wars, Mysore wars, Maratha wars, Anglo-Sikh wars, and with their other kind of policies, diplomatic policies, they acquired most of the territories in our country and became the rulers of our country. Now let us see some of the policies that they introduced. Was first they placed residence in the courts of the rulers who interfered in the internal matters, then doctrine of lapse and subsidiary alliance. All of you know what doctrine of lapse was. If any ruler died without a natural heir to the kingdom would get lapsed to the British. That means the kingdom would be taken away by the British. And subsidiary alliance, if you entered the subsidiary alliance, you were not allowed, the king was not allowed to keep an army. It was maintained by the British, and the ruler had to pay a maintenance fees. So in this way, they occupied most of the territories of our country. Okay, now we'll see how the Nawabs were infected, and in this way all the sections of the society were now very annoyed. You can see the king was annoyed, the Sepoys were annoyed, the farmers were annoyed, the craftsmen were annoyed, the Pandits and the Maulvis were also annoyed, and we will see what were the reasons for why they were annoyed with the British. And now the general feeling among them was that they had a common enemy, that is the British, and they needed to do something to drive the British away from our country. Children, you remember in the last chapter we had learned that Lord Dalhousie had introduced the policy of doctrine of lapse, and with that policy a number of states were annexed. Like you can see Jhansi, Nagpur, Sambalpur, Satara, Jaipur, all these were annexed with the policy of doctrine of lapse. And then later on Awadh was also annexed on the pretext of misgovernance, and the British accused the ruler of Awadh, that is at that time it was Wajid Ali Shah, of misgovernance and maladministration. And then he was forced to sign the subsidiary alliance, which means now if they signed the subsidiary alliance, the soldiers belonging to the Nawab were now disbanded. They lost their jobs, which led to the annoyance of the soldiers, because they were working for the Nawab, and now the entire army was disbanded, and now the army was maintained by the British. Okay, so even with the signing of subsidiary alliance, the soldiers of the Nawab army were very annoyed with the British. Children, now you see some rulers tried to negotiate with the British to get back their own territory. One of them was Rani Lakshmi Bai. She wanted the company to recognize her adopted son as the ruler of the kingdom. You know, after her husband's death, she adopted a son, which the company refused to recognize him as the next heir to the kingdom. And that is why her kingdom was annexed to the British. She tried her best, but of no use, her kingdom was annexed. Another one was Nana Sahib. Nana Sahib, if you remember, he was the son of Baji Rao II. Remember, after the Anglo-Maratha war, the post of Peshwa was abolished, and the Peshwa was sent to Bithur near Kanpur, where he was sentenced and given some pension. But after the death of Baji Rao II, his adopted son, who was Nana Sahib, was now the Britishers refused to give him the pension, and the Nana Sahib then pleaded to the British that he should be given the pension that his father was getting, but the British turned their pleas, because now they were very, very confident that these rulers cannot do anything, because they have signed the subsidiary alliance, the army was in their hands, and with their military power, they could now suppress any kingdom. Children, the company even had plans to bring the Mughal dynasty to an end. Okay, the name of the Mughal king was removed from the coins minted by the company. In 1849, Governor General Dalhousie announced that after the death of Bahadur Shah Zafar, the family of the king would be shifted out of the Red Fort and given another place in Delhi to live in. Okay, in 1856, when Governor General Canning decided that Bahadur Shah Zafar now would be the last Mughal king, and after his death, none of his descendants would be recognized as kings, they would just be called princes. So you see, children, with the introduction of policies like doctrine of lapse and subsidiary alliance and placing residents in the courts of rulers, the Nawabs and rulers now lost their power, honor and position, and they were now merely puppets in the hands of the British. Now this led to the discontentment among the Nawabs and rulers, and they were waiting for an opportunity to drive the British away from our country. Now we will look at the causes. For other sections of the society were also unhappy. As I told you, the sepoys, the soldiers, the farmers, the pandits, the Maulvis, the craftsmen, the farmers, all were very, very discontent with the British, and we will see the reasons for their discontentment.